Hey, I just wanted to start out by saying thank you for listening to Generation Change with Leo Finelli. Ads like this help us produce this podcast. If you'd like to make your own podcast, try Anchor. It's free, it's easy to use, and it allows you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone, computer, or other digital device. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so that it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and other platforms. Anchor helps you make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership needed. Anchor is everything you need to make a podcast, and it's all in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today.
Leo, you ready?
Ready. Hi, I'm Leo Finelli, and you're listening to Generation Change. Well, it feels a little redundant to say that 2020 was an extremely challenging year, but it was. That's why we'd like to close out this year on a hopeful note by amplifying a young voice who shows that our future is in good hands. Her name is Kayleigh Webb-Sanchez. Kayleigh is a young gun violence prevention activist who first gained recognition at age 11 when she participated in a viral PSA for March for Our Lives. This year, she was featured in the short film You Know the Drill by McKinley Layer and Josh Jacobius. Kayleigh works with her grandmother to help end gun violence in America, as well as climate change and other social justice issues. I talked to Kayleigh about how she got started, her experiences as an activist, and her concerns and hopes for life ahead. Before we get to the interview, let's take a listen to the audio from that PSA.
Alright, so good morning. Welcome to today's team building event. Today, we're going to be learning what to do in the event of an active shooter. We're gonna bring in a special guest. She's actually an expert on this, and she's going to be leading our team building event. This is Kayleigh.
If there was an active shooter, you'd all be dead. When you talk out loud, the shooter can tell where you are and where you're hiding. Sometimes we play the game who can stay quietest the longest, so we all remember. You can try and protect your friends by pushing the tables and chairs against the doors. You also have to put a piece of paper over the door window so they can't see in. And you can't cry. It gives away your position and your hiding spot. And if you're in the bathrooms, you have to stand on the toilet seat and crunch down so they can't see your feet and they can't see your head, so they don't know that you're in there.
That's crazy.
Try to listen for things that could help the police. For example, if you hear a lot of bangs like bang, 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 the shooter might be down the hall. Or if you hear louder ones like bang, 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 he could be right outside your door. If the shooter comes in the room, screaming won't do anything. You have to try and fight back. If you can't escape, we get taught the emergency window escape plan, where you have to break a window, put clothes over the frame, and climb through. Our teacher used to sing a song to make it easy to remember. Lock down, let's all hide. Lock the doors and stay inside. Crouch on down, don't make a sound, and don't cry or you'll be found.
Hello.
It is nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you too.
So, could you please share the story of how you first got involved in activism?
Ever since I was in kindergarten, I was always scared of having an active shooter just approach the school and having to go in full lockdown, as well as try and make a getaway. I wasn't always the fastest kid, and that probably did not help. The fear got mostly worse when my brother entered the school I was going to. So I felt the need to protect him. I never wanted to go to the bathroom in school because I was always scared that what if this is the day that the active shooter comes through? We mostly got really involved in activism when, a little bit after the Parkland shooting, we went to one of the town hall rallies. I met Jamal Lummy, and that is probably the biggest person that really helped throughout my journey.
A lot of people probably know you best from the public service announcement for March for Our Lives that you were in. Why do you think that PSA has such a powerful impact on people?
They probably didn't expect a young speaker of my age at the time being. When you think active shooter drill, you would think like a teacher hosting it or like an actual adult hosting it. You wouldn't think of this 11-year-old child being the expert in the shooter drill.
Kids your age shouldn't know how to do this. This should not be knowledge you have to teach to people that young.
You really shouldn't.
In addition to the PSA, what else have you done to call attention to the need to end gun violence and mass shootings?
We've spoken at a few rallies. We participated in as much as we could. We went to Washington, D.C. for about a month. We were there during the Women's March, and my grandmother was my parental supervision. We were trying to figure out how to host our own rally in case we needed to. We also want to help participate in the Women's March. Other than that, we just participate in as much as we can. We are on we as in me and my grandmother, are on a Kaiser hospital advisory team to help end teen suicide throughout gun violence. We're trying to figure out ways that will help bring attention to it and try to figure out how to prevent suicide in general.
Let's take a short break.
How have you gotten your family and friends involved in your activism?
I have cousins that will often go to rallies with me, and since COVID, of course, we can't go to many. However, we still try our best to participate. Anyone who would listen, we try our best to include.
Who are your role models?
My role models are Jamal Lummy. We met him the very first day we tried out activism. He's also a very good friend. Manuel Oliver and Patricia Oliver are both very amazing mentors to me. They're the parents of Joaquin Oliver, who died at Parkland shooting. They help throughout their street art, and it's just so empowering to see their art and see them do what we've been trying to do for a long time. We need to look up to everyone that is a positive example and that you think is a positive effect on your life.
For me, many of the people I'm interviewing on this show are my role models in life.
I believe that if you surround yourself with people you want to be like and people who you look up to and are your role models, you're more likely to help yourself become the person that you always looked up to.
You know, one of my best friends always says pretty much that exact same thing, to surround myself with people who invite me to be my best self, who inspire me.
It's because it's true. When you surround yourself with people who bring out your best self, you're more likely to have your best self come out.
How do you plan on continuing your activism in the future?
I would love to continue with gun violence, and the very second we get like no gun violence death every day, that would be so amazing. And it would be nice to work on equal rights and social justice for all.
Yes, I actually think all social justice issues are interconnected with each other. For example, like gun violence is a racial justice issue. Gun violence is a toxic masculinity issue because society teaches men that shooting people is the way to be macho. You've also done some work towards ending climate change. Could you elaborate on that?
We mostly just participate. We do think climate change is a really big issue, and the moment there isn't as many gun violence deaths, we're thinking about helping climate change finally end.
I don't like that believing in science has become a political question. These days, it's harder to find an issue that hasn't been turned into something that if you think this, you're red, if you think this, blue. I think part of the reason it is so hard to resolve these issues is because they have become so associated with affiliation and partisanship. Really, they're just about people. These should be party neutral issues.
You can't even wear a mask without
being partisan.
Yeah.
It's so sad. Have you ever wished that people your age could vote?
I feel like people my age should be more educated on the ballot, not necessarily vote. Sometimes people my age can act too quickly on emotions instead of facts.
Emotions instead of facts, that's powerful.
We want to educate the young people how to vote down ballot instead of just for the president. It's a little bit of an issue with kids where they're just young and impressionable by their parents, and we want them to have their own political opinion instead of just instinctively following their family.
There was a time, now that I look back on it, I would probably swear that I was intentionally trying to have a different political opinion from my parents just to seem different than them.
It's always okay to have the same political opinion as our parents, but you can't take everything from their opinion.
Do you think that COVID-19 has made you a better person?
Somewhat. It's a little difficult to tell because it's been so long I don't remember what I was like before quarantine. We never really expected what truly happened. It's very sad to see what we could have done and didn't, and we didn't act on it fast enough. It'll define generations. We'll eventually find a new normal outside of COVID, but until then, we need to stay home, stay safe, and only leave the house when we need to.
Kindness over convenience.
If only.
We'll be right back.
How do you will yourself to see hope?
Being involved really helps see what hope we have and seeing all the other people participating and on a greater scale than what we used to before all of these issues really became so big. They were always big, but they were greatly noticed recently.
Stay involved and stay awake and stay loud.
Very true.
Right now, what would you suggest we do to get involved with gun violence and mass shooting prevention?
We can all get involved. You can write your senators, you can write your governors and tell them this is a really big issue. You can go to rallies nearby you. You can try to get involved the best way you can.
It takes all of us, and I know the media can kind of distort it to looking like just one thing, but gun violence takes so many different forms, and it's so important that we do what we can to stop it and to prevent it from happening.
Yes, whether suicide, whether homicide, whether an actual shooting or domestic violence, it's very important to end it in all forms.
Thank you so much for being part of the fight, Kayleigh, and for talking to me tonight.
Thank you for bringing attention to the problem.
It was nice talking to you.
It was nice talking to you too.
I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Kayleigh. She gives us a powerful reminder about how gun violence takes many forms and is a significant problem in our country. I'm so impressed by the way Kayleigh has funneled her fear and anxiety around this issue into action. Also, knowing that people as young as she is are getting involved in social justice issues at large helps me believe that the future is bright. You can follow Kayleigh on Twitter and Instagram at Web-Sanchez. And by the way, thanks so much for listening. We know it's been a challenging year, and we'd like to wish you a happy and hopeful 2021. If you'd like to recommend someone you know who is trying to make a difference to be on the show, Or if you are someone trying to make a difference and you would like to be on the show, email us at generationchange@leofinelli.com. Please follow us on Twitter and Instagram at GenChangeWithLF. That's at GenChangeWithLF. Subscribe and review wherever you get your podcasts, and just share this with your friends and others. Generation Change with Leo Finelli is edited and executive produced by Julie and Nick Finelli. Our original music was composed and performed by Leo Finelli. Thank you so much for listening.